Welcome to the Bowling Center's presentation. I'm going to walk you through this, and this presentation will be available right below this video, so you can click and download the actual PowerPoint of this presentation. But I want to walk you through it really quick since the potential and possibilities are really limitless. So let's go through it fairly quickly, and then you can review this at your own leisure. And I will probably come out to Michigan and other states to launch this throughout the country. So starting in Michigan, and we'll talk about why Michigan and why bowling later. But Michigan right now has BCAM, which has stood for in the past Bowling Centers Association of Michigan. And we're going to probably flip that now to call Bowling Customers Association of Michigan, and then start the first ever state association open play membership along with the USBCA, which used to stand for the United States Bowling Congress, but will now stand for the United States Bowling Customers Association. So this will all be changed with very familiar letters that the sport of bowling is familiar with. It's going to be the first ever open play membership, which also sponsors the first ever NASCAR driver on the autism spectrum, who also lives in Michigan. So all of this will be explained as we go. It's going to be the first ever NASCAR sponsorship of a driver in a car that's actually sponsored by the people and for the people rather than the brands on the hood. And this is going to endear millions of people to a sport that is looking to endear the millennial population. So we're literally going to transform brand sponsorships, sports sponsorships, and we're going to use the sport of bowling in Michigan to drive people to different sports, and we'll explain that as we go. We're going to use gamification and technology to bring people and communities together. So we're going to, as we talked about, these three companies come together to deliver this type of a thing. So we're going to bring and deliver benefits to state associations as well as national associations. These type of associations have never existed previous. BCAM traditionally stood for bowling centers. We're now going to open that up to bowling customers, and the revenue difference is tremendous. You know, BCAM right now might pull in somewhere between $500,000 and $1 million a year from maybe 150 bowling centers that pay, let's say, $500 a year. This is your typical kind of a membership. But now we can go to 1, 2, 3 million open play bowlers, have them pay a much smaller amount that we'll talk about later. And all of a sudden, rather than pulling in 500, 600, 700,000 from bowling centers, they're pulling in 1, 2, and $3 million per month from the bowling customers of the bowling centers in Michigan. So it's a much better mousetrap, and we'll talk about that as we go. The strategies and value that we're going to provide these new associations is completely innovative. It's an absolute win for every party involved. These three companies working together are simple yet powerful, and we deliver this at the perfect time. We're going to utilize a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to sponsor the first ever NASCAR driver on the autism spectrum. That's Armani Williams, who's an inspiration to millions and a darling to brands. We're going to use innovative brand value to change this whole concept, utilizing a driver that has never existed before in an extremely brand loyal sport with gamification and emotions that tie people to the brands like never before. We're going to use technology and gamification to bring people together, fund important needs, and support communities all at the same time. So how does this actually work? Let's find that out. Here's an example of a game that we have created and are in the process of patenting called NASCAR Lucky Squares. We'll learn more about that later. But by playing this game, you can win a new Ford F-150 or $40,000 in cash. And although Ford as a corporation hasn't committed yet, we're open to any brand that sees the value of what we are doing here. There's no pill for silly. We presented this to Ford. Hopefully the Ford executives see the value of what we are doing, but often some of these Fortune 100 or 500 companies are so busy with business that has always been done in the same traditional way, they don't spot innovation when it hits them square in the face. So all we can do is portray it, but we know that somebody in the automotive space will understand the magnitude of what we're bringing here, because they all do this currently. They all run around with old ideas. And they're all dying right now because the dealership model is dying, and so this is innovative. concept. So one of these games is what we have done, and we're going to look at those games later. The first thing I want to show you quickly is what type of membership value are we going to deliver. Then we're going to look at the games involved, then we're going to look at why brands want to jump on. And then we're done, so fairly quick. So the first step is membership value. We're going to charge $4.95 per month, and this is open for conjecture. It's not locked in stone. But we want to make this such a no-brainer that everybody wants to join. So for $4.95 a month, what do members of the new bowling centers, or not bowling customers Association of Michigan receive? Well, they get one free game of bowling per day from every member center. And we might start with just the top 20 or 25. We don't have to do all 160 at a time. We can plan that out. That's no big deal. But whoever is a part of this member center brigade will give each one of the customers a one free game of bowling per day. And we're going to talk about the app that we have that will be shown to the desk personnel when they walk into the bowling center. Everything's built. Everything's ready. Nothing needs to be developed, and there's no cost to all of the bowling centers who are involved. This is a free ride and extraordinary revenue that we're going to hand back to the bowling centers and the bowling proprietors of Michigan. So they get that, a free game of bowling, which alone is worth $4.95 per month, isn't it? Every person who joins the Bowling Customers Association will get a free mobile app. We'll talk about that a little later. It's already built and wonderful. It's got over 300,000 special offers. Got SCT exclusive with free benefits of golf and bowling, and we'll talk more about that. But this free app is given to every customer who joins the Bowling Customers Association of Michigan for just being a bowling customer. We get free rounds of golf from partnering courses. We get free oil changes from our partnering dealerships, whether that be Chevy or Ford, as we talked about, whether Ford has the ability to even see this type of innovation. We have group rates on important benefits such as ID theft and legal protection inside of the app. So for the first time in history, open play bowlers will actually be treated like a privileged employee that opens them up to group rates on important benefits that they are already subscribing to now, but now have a lower rate just because they're an open play bowler. Only SCT members that show this digital card on the app are allowed the chance to win new cars, trips to the Masters, up to $1 million in cash. In other words, you have to be an open play bowler and an SCT member with your showing your digital membership card on the app to go to the bowling center, show this card right on your phone, and then have the ability to play these games. And each time you play the game, you could be driving home in a new Ford Mustang, a new F-150, or taking a trip to the Masters. And we're gonna show you all this fairly quickly right here in this presentation. I'm just going over this now before we start. Now, not only is the value incredible today and ready to go today, but the value keeps growing every month as we launch new partners and new locations, as people start understanding all of these tremendous benefits that have never been rolled into an open play bowling membership in history. And so when you innovate, sometimes it takes people a little longer to learn, but it's so simple that they get it when they see it in motion. And so the value will grow every month, the membership will grow every month, and everybody will come together. So that's what the value is right there. Let's look at how the $4.95 is divided. We got $1 that goes to sponsor Armani. So it's going to be the first time ever that a NASCAR driver was not sponsored by the brands on the hood. Now, these brands will be on the hood, but they won't pay for this. And we'll talk about that later, because this is an incredible brand value that's going to bring the brands of bowling running to bowling, along with new brands to bowling like never before because of this innovation. But this is going to be the first time ever that a NASCAR driver is sponsored by the people and for the people. This will endear millions of people to NASCAR as they follow Armani and root for Armani because of what they feel like they're connected to this driver because their membership is sponsoring the driver. And this is a special needs driver, so it's got an incredible connection that really endears an entire millennial population to any sport, such as NASCAR, bowling, or golf that we're going to focus on. $1 goes to the community needs around the member bowling center. So every bowling center that participates will have a little geographic area, whether whether that be a zip code or a city or whatever that may be, but $1 goes to there. So out of the $4.95, we already got $2 going to special needs and community needs. $1 goes to Smart Community Technologies for the expenses and the prizes, and then $1.95 to the association or to Michigan. Now, as you can tell, we got, if you just with just 1 million members, and Michigan is going to override the USBCA, which we'll talk about later. But just in Michigan, 1 million members is going to be $2 million a month to the association. That is far more revenue than they're bringing in now without having to change or reinvent the wheel. So that's how the initial, and then we haven't even talked about when we go to a platinum for $9.95, $14.95, or $19.95, millions of dollars pouring back into the state and into Michigan. And then when they override the entire country with the new USBCA membership, how much this means for Michigan for being a leader inside of their space. So let's look at the games and find out what type of games that members play, because we are expert gamification people here at Smart Community Technology. So what you're looking at is our NASCAR board that we invented. Many of you familiar with this is a football board, and it can also be used as a football board and as a NASCAR board. And we'll explain more of that later. But you can scratch and win, you can get codes, you can get this number here underneath a cup, and we'll show you that as we go. You can sign your name. Now, as you know, the key is we don't sell these squares. These squares are given to people when they order sponsored brands, whether that be a Pepsi or a Grey Goose or Captain Morgan or whoever it may be. It doesn't matter. Maybe it's a game of bowling. We have unlimited potential to give away these squares. And what's different is not only do you have the traditional winners like every quarter that everyone's used to with a Super Bowl board like this, with the team up here, with the laps up here, with the base, all kinds of things. People are familiar with this board, but you don't buy these squares. These boards are given to you when you purchase a sponsored brand, which protects the brand, endears the brand, and protects full price for the bowling center, because the only place you can play these games is at the bowling center. So this is going to drive far more customers to a bowling center, and not just for bowling, but for food and for drink and all the other things a bowling center represents. And now, when the board is filled, we have all of these winners that can win things, and we'll illustrate some more. But one lucky square is chosen. So let's say 46 was chosen, which means that if the lap or the score ends in this particular one, this person here wins a brand new F-150 or $40,000 in cash. So it's incredible value. We can do that. Let's look at a few other games. We have a lot of mobile games that we can use with sports, with digital trading cards and the digital drawings for a difference. We have all of that set up. We've got texting capabilities that are phenomenal, already ready to go, that brands love. We talk about that a little bit later. Let me give you a few other games, and we'll kind of move through here and get done. Here's a sample that we can do. This is going to be a Pepsi. This can be a Pepsi ordered at the bowling center. It could be a Pepsi ordered at Subway, but the code needs to be redeemed at the bowling center. But this is an idea of how we bring major brands like this into bowling, because this code cannot be used at Subway, although a Pepsi could be ordered at Subway, but the code brought into the bowling center to play the games I'm going to illustrate in a few minutes here. So a lot of ways to do this. Only members can do this. So you need to, you can get your code at Subway, and then it tells you go to your local bowling center to join your bowling association so that you have a chance to win a new Mustang. So all kinds of major brands and major locations throughout the community will be driving their customers to the bowling center because of our ability to gamify this. And all of this is going to be on television with the only autistic NASCAR driver in history. It's incredible stuff. And these games can be really simple. Here's an example of a game that we did before. Here's one like the bowling center. I think we did this with Playdrum Lanes in New Jersey. You could win 10 free games or a $10 reward or a free appetizer or maybe even 5 free appetizer, 1 per day, a round of golf with a cart. All of these things are donated to the bowling center because of what we do marketing-wise. Bank of America, in this particular case, picked up all the cost because we promoted Bank of America. So don't worry about how we do this and what we're going to do with kids right here. And with the NFL and the NBA Play 60 in the future, this is just a simple game that you can get as a code off of a cup when you order a simple Pepsi here. And maybe one of the codes allows you to spin here. And then maybe one of the categories here allows you to go to the golf course here, which is another game that we've done. And maybe 50 people every single month are invited to this golf course. And here's this game. And we have videos on our website of somebody winning this game. But everyone lines up, and if they make a 10-foot putt, then they are advancing to the next round, which is a 30-foot putt. So 10-foot putt is not difficult. Maybe 10, 20 people out of 50 make it. So now these 10 or 20, 50 people line up for a 30-foot putt. Now, maybe only one or two make that 30-foot putt. Maybe it's five. It doesn't matter. But once they do these first two steps, then they advance to a 50-foot putt. And if they make that, they walk off that golf course with a new Ford Mustang or an F-150. This is incredible fun. The golfing parties at the golf course in conjunction with the bowling center are just unprecedented. We often have a $1 million hole-in-one contest where we raise all kinds of money for local charities. We can do this all over the state of Michigan, all over the country. We raise money for charities. We have amazing fun. All of this is filmed because you have to film this. If there's a person that drives away with a new Mustang or like this guy, $30,000 in cash, all of this for just being an open play bowler. And let's go back to a few games and look at this Masters package. We have an incredible Masters package where two people win a trip to Augusta, 6-day, 5-night, all-inclusive package, round-trip airfare. Everything. This thing is priceless. So we have videos on our website. We have dice games like this where all the dice are branded with either, Pepsi or Grey Goose or, whoever the sponsor may be. Here's a radio station. These are all different size dice. One popular game for bowling is these 1-inch dice, which you can throw right in here, this little board, which can sit right on top of the bar. And if you get a Yahtzee, like a Harley thing or a Yahtzee or whatever that may be, well, you don't just get, you win the brand new Ford Mustang. It's incredible stuff. And let's say you only get one logo or two logos or three logos. Well, we have all kinds of prizes being donated by other sponsors. So people love to play this game. And how do they spin? They can't buy a spin. They can only earn a spin by purchasing sponsor brands. And we'll talk more about that later because this redefines the value of branding inside of sports, sponsorship branding, and endearment to brands because of the gamification value. Here's another game that we created for Ford lately that was pretty phenomenal. It's a virtual test drive that you can take around a track. You can get inside the cockpit of a F-150 or a Mustang, race around these tracks. These logos pop up. You run them over, and it populates right to the app. So we have all kinds of mobile games. We also have, let's go here, geosocial scavenger hunts because we can tie into the app where we can locate everybody when they download our app. And when you click on these buttons, it'll tell you who this is that's in India, who's in Thailand, who's in South Korea. We got all these people that are in Florida or Georgia or Michigan, 1,139 in Michigan. We can click here and drill down on Michigan and find out where any one customer, here's 29 people that are in Hawaii. Okay, so we know where everybody is. We can click on them. We can message them and send them all around on these geosocial scavenger hunts, all because they're an open play bowler in Michigan. It's just incredible gamification. We have this right now with a wonderful app called Smart Community Perks, exclusively for Smart Community members. 300,000 merchants that are offering specials and discounts, exclusive SCT benefits alone, all sorted by geo, already right now, already ready to go, plus other benefits that we'll talk about later. So this is just a sample of some games. And do you know the value of gamification? It's huge value. It reduces stress. It improves employee engagement. It brings people together. It brings communities together. They lead people to enjoying one another, not hiding behind phones and screens. If you watch the news today, everyone's worried about kids spending too much time on their phone. What is the answer? The Open Play membership in Michigan. It's way bigger than the sport of bowling. The branding is way bigger than a simple sports sponsorship. This is designed to bring people and communities together while supporting special needs and important needs at the same time. Something that has never been done before in history and brought to Michigan and brought to the sport of bowling. You think anybody wants to join? Are you kidding? Incredible value, great games, great apps, important benefits, fun benefits, everyday benefits, all being reminded automatically to your phone with an incredible app. And all of this just for being an Open Play bowler and paying the $4.95 to join the new Open Play Association. It's just incredible. Now, how do brands benefit? And then we're done. Brands benefit tremendously in a variety of ways, and we're going to illustrate real quickly, and then we're out of here. But this is how customers feel. This is how, this is like a Super Bowl party. You know how you feel when your Super Bowl team wins? We now transfer that fan endearment and fan craziness and fun into the brands. And so when customers feel this way, brands are happy. And when customers are we pass this goodwill to the brands. The gamification and value when we combine important community needs is a game changer in and of itself. How else do brand benefits? Well, all kinds of ways, all right? The games can only be played when a sponsor brand is purchased. Since we're taking $1 from every one of the memberships to sponsor Armani, the sponsor brands don't have to pay millions of dollars to get on the car. We give that to them free of charge, so they get 2 benefits for less than the price of 1. It's the first time ever that a NASCAR sponsorship has guaranteed ROI. You no longer have to hope people are looking at the logo on the car. They're seeing this. They're sponsoring the driver themselves with a membership, and then visiting the bowling center, or visiting the golf course, or visiting the dealership, seeing this car in parades, and actually playing games with the very same sponsors after they purchase that brand. It changes the ROI and sponsorship forever. The emotional goodwill and fun and value are passed to that brand, cementing the emotion as never before. Now, already, here's are the key brands of bowling. And you'll recognize this if you are a bowling proprietor. But you got Pepsi, First Data, and Cisco. We've got Go Bowling 250. Already, bowling and Strike 10 Entertainment have made NASCAR a key component. They're spending millions of dollars already. This is far superior. And we can either work with Strike 10, we can work independent of them. We can talk to the bowling centers of Michigan and of the United States and talk about whether they want to take control on a statewide basis, if they want to hand over the reins back to Strike 10. But the major entities in bowling, whether that be USBC or Strike 10 or the BPAA, have not really done a good job in keeping the PBA Tour alive and passing the benefits back to local proprietors. So we'll give them the choice of what they want to do. But other sponsors will now jump in because of what we're doing and how we're endearing everybody. Let's look at some other brand benefits. Here's an example. Imagine Pepsi now. Pepsi, the special drink for special needs, and being tied in to the only autistic black NASCAR driver, 20 years old, endearing the public to everybody, right? Pepsi, the proud sponsor of Armani Williams, the only NASCAR driver in history on the autism spectrum disorder, a minority. I mean, it's just a fantastic message. All members receive free items in their community when they join in this sponsorship of By the People for the People. This month, the Pepsi Prize is an all-expense paid trip to Daytona for 4 people or more. Any parents of special needs child are eligible, so the parents can go down to the ground and to the infield of the NASCAR track. The kids can meet Armani, see somebody who is on the spectrum disorder like them, look up to him. I mean, can you imagine the endearment to the brand? It's incredible. Winners will receive an all-expense paid trip to Daytona. See Armani, we talk about science, technology, engineering, and math with NASCAR. I mean, we are bringing kids out, we're bringing communities together, and the brands that are lucky enough to be on this car are going to have a cement emotions that are absolutely incredible. Now, there's even more brand benefits because every open play bowler in Michigan will be part of now the new United States Bowling Customers Association, or the USBCA. Brand ambassadors around Michigan will travel around to the bowling centers, offering free lunch and learns at the center to open play bowlers, teaching them all the benefits of this new association. The brand ambassadors will help spread the goodwill message of each one of the brands that are sponsors, whether that be Pepsi or whoever it may be. And when they teaching them how when they order that brand at the bowling center, they get a chance with every time they order that to win life-changing prizes, and how their membership is now tied to the community, tied to NASCAR, tied to Armani, tied to special needs. They're going to, all of these people, professionals, will be explaining to open play bowlers for the first time how just being an open play bowler is now changing their community, changing the state, changing sponsorship. Brand ambassadors will explain how open play benefits are tremendous. Every open play bowler will be given a special code to download the app here. And when you turn this app sideways on the phone, it opens up an amazing 24/7 HR and customer support, mobile concierge service that answers any questions they have. Unbelievable stuff, all here, already. Nothing needs to be built. No cost to the bowling proprietors. Amazing stuff. Okay, so let's close up real quick here. How the proper marriage helps brands and how everyone wins. The SCT Affinity app is powerful. It's geo-based. It's got perk alerts. We're adding balances in 2019, which will be a game changer for brands. Brands are already spending millions of dollars on traditional sponsorships and advertising with no guarantee of ROI, or it's difficult to track the ROI. Our strategy changes the face of sponsorship like never before. There's never been this combination for brands where fun things, everyday things, and important things have been tied. 2, a geo-based perk alerts app that reminds consumers and ties emotional value to brands that has never been done before. Last slide and we're finally done, our second to last. This is why Michigan and why bowling, because Armani lives in Michigan. Michigan is a strong bowling state with a well-organized association. Strike 10 and First Data are already into NASCAR, spending millions of dollars. This is way better. We can now leverage this for local centers and spread an open play message membership across the country. Bowling is the largest participation sport. Our kids need activities and social interactions to reconnect to society, get them physically active, starting to like people and not hiding behind phones and screens, and then having violence throughout the United States. The open play memberships have never been launched. The demographics of bowling are just incredible. They're moving away from league into open play. This is the answer to that. Bowling is the ideal lead into golf, and then the ideal lead into dealerships. Everyone's looking to attract the younger generation, generation, and gamification is the key to doing it. We've got the NFL and the NBA on hold, waiting for Play 60. We'll talk about more of that later. Our communities need activities to bring people together. Bowling is ideal. Bowling has never advertised the healthy benefits of the sport. Winning has never been associated with open play. League play has been the one that's dominant, so the opportunity is untapped. And bowling is not really bowling, it's really activities. It's really food, it's drink, it's sports bar, it's entertainment, it's music. It's all the things millennials love, but the message has never been portrayed accurately. And now we bring technology and a brand endearment to the sport, and it's going to launch and change this thing incredibly. We've always thought that. All right, it's the first time ever that, this is our last slide, we're done. First time ever that fun, winning, importance, and everyday has been brought to employee benefits or association memberships. It's a simple formula. It's a powerful results. It gives incredible engagement. Bowling centers, golf courses, and auto dealerships are the focus. And these three companies, through a simple yet powerful and credible formula, are going to bring people and communities together and use technology in a way that will revolutionize the sport that is waiting to be revolutionized. So thank you very much. We look forward to talking to you later.